Yesterday's game was really, really bad. I mean, it was super bad. This might be one of the worst games ever. The referees showed everyone how unfair they were being. They didn't care that the whole world was watching. They didn't care how bad it looked. They were going to pick on the Fever team no matter what. And that's exactly what happened. They picked on them in a big way. There were so many times I could look at the TV and know that was a foul. What if I told you the real best? Player of the WNBA isn't a player, but a referee who has a personal problem and a whistle that's really hot. Get ready, because we found video that's so crazy, it makes reality TV look like church. Caitlin Clark didn't just get fouled, she got totally robbed. And we have all the proof. It's messier than when a little kid eats spaghetti. You won't believe what this ref did. And yes, it's all on camera. Let's jump right into it. So today the referees gave their report about what happened, and it's even worse than I thought it would be. And I already thought it was pretty bad. It was pretty bad watching the WNBA and seeing how things work after you've seen what it looks like when they do it, right? And then you see something that looks really wrong. You're going to say something about it. You're going to be mean to players if they do something sneaky or rude. You're going to call that out. And the whistle blows again. Not for a foul, not for traveling, but apparently for just being Caitlin Clark. Because, let's be honest, at this point, it's not basketball. It's a badly written soap opera where the referees are acting like cartoon bad guys, somewhere between the missed calls, fake fouls, and oops, I guess I didn't see that punch to the face. The WNBA referees have changed from officials into chaos. Monsters with whistles. So I wanted to share with you guys an article that I found. It honestly gives us so much information about the WNBA referees, how they get hired, how much money they make. And there's one part that really stood out to me. They basically explain why they are making the calls that they make. They also talk about all the new fans coming to the WNBA. They talk about Caitlin Clark a little bit. This article really told me a lot. It actually came out in January, but it was published by SB Nation. It's called How WNBA Referees Are Found, Trained, and Held Responsible. The audience isn't confused anymore. They're tired. This isn't suspense. It's sabotage in slow motion. Crooked referees aren't just ruining games. They're taking away joy from a league that's supposed to be growing. Fans turn on the TV hoping for good competition, not referee improv theater. It's like watching a cooking show where the judges randomly unplug the oven in the middle of baking and blame the person cooking. And Caitlin Clark. She's the person cooking, getting sabotaged. She's smiling politely while her 3-layer cake melts into soup on the floor. I mean, you would think with what they said coming into the season, Kathy made it her business to let them know that referees were going to get checked this next season to make sure they're making the right calls. Man, at this point, we need NBA refs all the time. I don't want these YMCA Junior League high school referees. We need real referees because right now they're costing the Indiana Fever big games that they really need to win. Let's be real. Caitlin looks tired and not in the played 40 minutes and scored 30 points kind of way. No, this is that deep tiredness that only comes from realizing you could score 60 points and someone would still call a charge because you blinked too hard. This woman is carrying a team, a league, and half of women's basketball fans on her back. And the refs are out here making sure her shoelaces are tied together during every play. You remember how last year started? You remember the unfair officiating that we got last year? The All-Star break comes around. The Olympic break rolls around. And then what did we hear from Lynn Dunn? Lynn Dunn goes on the Dan Patrick Show and she calls out the officiating. She calls out the refereeing. She calls out the WNBA, the unfairness that is being shown, not in favor of the Indiana Fever, the clear unfairness when it comes to foul calls, the clear unfairness when it comes to not calling foul calls. Last year, it took us halfway through the season. Of course, she's sad. Wouldn't you imagine being world class at your job, showing up every night to work miracles, and then realizing your biggest opponent isn't even wearing the other team's jersey. It's the zebras with whistles who somehow manage to miss actual attacks but flag her for basic movement, like she's breaking some secret NBA anti-glow-up rule. The way she's being treated isn't just wrong, it's cartoon wrong. It's like Caitlin accidentally stepped into a world where logic doesn't exist. And as for Coach Stephanie White, she didn't just lose her cool. She donated it to science. She looked like she was trying out for a reboot of Whose Line Is It Anyway, except every prompt was react to yet another insultingly bad call. The woman was pacing, yelling, and turning more and more red like a human thermometer of unfair. It was less coaching, more live demonstration of what gaslighting looked like in real time. The refs weren't even pretending to be fair. They were just out there making up their own rules like it was jazz night at the officiating club. Look at things a little bit as a whole. I think Caitlin Clark is a really hard player to referee, much like Diana Taurasi was throughout her career, for a couple of reasons. Caitlin Clark regularly gets picked up in the full court. She also gets double-teamed more over the course of her career than any player in WNBA history or in that period of time, and she also creates some contact herself on the offensive end of the floor. She is very difficult to referee because of all of the contact that's happening around her all of the time. That being said, I was talking with a number of WNBA coaches yesterday about this topic of the officiating in the WNBA, and all of them said it needs to be fixed. There's no other way to say it. Caitlin Clark is being treated like she committed a crime. Against basketball, when all she did was make it popular again, the WNBA wanted visibility. Great! Congrats! You've got it! And now the referees are squinting into the spotlight like vampires caught in the sun. They're panicking under the weight of actual attention. They didn't expect fans. They didn't expect replays. And they certainly didn't expect anyone to start asking questions. Now, every bad call is a meme in 5 seconds flat. And Twitter's got slow motion breakdowns of every flop denial and logic-defying whistle. And somehow it just keeps getting worse. Caitlin goes for a fast break. Bam. Whistle? She makes a clean steal. Whoops. Violation. She breathes too hard in the key technical foul. Meanwhile, the other team is acting out a UFC promo and getting nothing but high fives. It's like the referees got confused and thought the WNBA was a choose-your-own-adventure book where Caitlin always ends up in detention. No matter what page you turn to, it's not just about bad calls. It's the mind games of it all. The girl in her rookie year playing with the calmness of a veteran and the target on her back the size of Iowa. They start off by sharing that the officiating in the WNBA became as hot a topic as any heated debate surrounding the league's physicality dominated the headlines, particularly when Indiana Fever star rookie Caitlin Clark was subject to several intentional fouls. Now, they also brought up Game 5 of the WNBA Finals. We actually made a whole video about that as well because there were some questionable calls at the end of that game. And A lot of people felt like the WNBA finals were actually rigged. Every time she gets up, someone's there to push her back down. Sometimes, literally. Meanwhile, Coach White's sideline performances are becoming more legendary than the games themselves. She's basically become the unofficial voice of reason. If reason came with red-faced yelling and clipboard throwing intensity, you can practically hear her inner thoughts screaming. Are you serious? She's protesting so hard it's a miracle she hasn't been mic'd up and given her own post-game therapy show, and can you blame her? Watching your star player get hacked like an Amazon password and not get a whistle would make anyone snap. But instead of celebrating her, we're looking at slow-motion clips of her getting blindsided while the refs do their best impression of a statue. It's surreal. Like, are we in a parody universe where talent is punished and being mediocre gets a standing ovation? It took us 4 games for Stephanie White to say, I've had enough. It's taken 4 games for Stephanie White to say, what? I've had absolute enough. Game 1, okay? Game 2, okay? Game 3, all right? But today was the last straw when it came to Stephanie White. The New York Liberty get to the free throw line 32 times. The Indiana Fever this season have a difference of -31 when it comes to free throws. That doesn't seem right, because that's how it feels. That fans are noticing. The stands are louder. The boos are longer. And the internet is absolutely foaming at the mouth with receipts. No one's buying the just part of the game excuse anymore. If anything, the game looks rigged by a group of interns on a caffeine bender who think consistency is optional. And if that sounds harsh, good. Because it should be. This isn't just about Caitlin, it's about what happens when you bring real star power into a system that isn't built to handle it. The referees are clinging to their power like it's the last slice of pizza, blowing calls with the confidence of people who've never had their decisions reviewed in HD by 5 million viewers. Caitlin